Hello, good morning everybody. This is Michael Jäger speaking. We are a couple, married with my wife Magdalena. I currently only have a PPL and I have an IFR rating and of course multi-engine and so on. Here we are at the moment at Parafield Airport with Aero Service here from Mark and Dennis. And we are also here at the Adelaide Aviation Center, which is really awesome, I must say. Some really nice people and very well training area, well equipped aircrafts and everything. So definitely a good place to do your what do you say here, your training, your licenses. We come from the northern part of Germany, so quite far away. I've just looked at some iPad or something that I left home, and that was 14,600 kilometers away, so quite a bit. We are on a very special trip we do around the world with our lovely DA42 TWIN STAR with continental diesel engines, so with the smaller engines but very fuel efficient, so like 35 liters per hour. And we have looked into a route already for many years, which we could pass all the way around with some stops which are able with our fuel capacity. So maybe up to 6 hours flying, sometimes up to 7 hours flying. And we also got us some turtle packs from Australia, extra, which we can fill up another 100 gallon, which will give us another range of another 8 hours easy. And I must say, as a tip for you, of course, there were always some fears for me to land at different airports or whatever, or what it's going to be like or something. And the reality is, if anyone else can do it, you can do it as well. And you always really have to listen first of all to your feeling, to your heart, how to solve the problem, especially where you really have to say, aviate, sorry, it's in English, I have to look and think about it, aviate, navigate, communicate, no? So that's really a must. And another really good thing is, if you fail to prepare to fail. No? So really look up the weather, which is really important. We really had some bad icing situations, not on our trip, but I've had them before. And you really must be aware of the weather. I think that's the most critical item of all. After that is really that you know the airspace is quite well and so on, that you don't enter, especially here maybe in Australia. It's not so important because many people are really nice, no? And they forgive everything. But in other countries, no? When you don't stick to the airways and don't stick to the regulations and you don't really prepare very well for everything, you might get arrested somewhere in Pakistan or in Mumbai and so on if you do a similar trip. No? Otherwise, I must say Parafield Airport is really a wonderful place. They have some excellent airport here, excellent service, also maintenance center here from Mark and Dennis. Really since 1985, no? Really well trained people. I'm really pleased with everything that we got here. I think so far we are quite lucky, and the biggest challenge is really hard to say. I think it was some of these countries like Pakistan and so on to get really the permissions for it in place. We have an agent, it's called GAZE, so General Aviation Service Egypt, and there is an Ahmed guy. He is really experienced. He does for maintenance all the ferry flights for Diamond as well. So he gets the overflight permits, the landing permits, and the entry permits, and whatever is required. He also helps with visas and so on. So that's also a very good address if you ever need any landing permits outside of Australia. No? So he's really good at organizing everything very well. Oh, the best food definitely was in the Asian area with Bangkok and Singapore, I must say. So that was, of course, for our taste. And so on, that was really, of course, awesome for the European taste and so on. And we both love Asian food, and that is definitely the best. Also in Singapore with all these food stations, there were some larger ones, which were there, these food centers, food market, yes. It was the food market, exactly. That was so wonderful. You get such a lovely meal for a few dollars, and really you don't get sick from it or something. Your belly will, even the European belly, which is not used to it, is totally comfortable with it, and it was awesome. Our next stops will be now Melbourne. After that we will go to Sydney, to Bankstown. We heard it's quite a busy airport, but we will give it a try. And especially if you fly IFR, of course, then it's easy, because they will take care of all the coordination and so on. After that we will go to Sunshine Coast, and then we will head up to Tontuta, Niue, and there are some other volcanoes and stuff that we would like to see. Then it goes via the Fijis and later on to Samoa and so on, all the way up to Hilo. And then will be the longest leg all the way to Monterey, which is 2,050 nautical miles. Will give me a flight of 14 hours. So with the turtle tank in the back, all the way over water, there is no way of any landing and so on. And the major thing is really that you need an HF clearance, which is not really working so far, and I hope it's going to be solved until then, because otherwise you're not allowed to proceed. So you get the oceanic clearance, 130 nautical miles after Hawaii, and you will only get it via HF. And after that, you are free to use a sat phone or something as well. But I think this would prevent some crazy Americans with an idea on the weekend, say Friday afternoon. Oh, well, let's take our service and go to Hawaii and go for the weekend. And I think this will stop them actually, because this HF restriction is really hard. We have to put an antenna out of the window, so we have a spare window with us with the guidance, and then we have to put our 10 meters flying behind us all the way, and then we have to try to get a signal. And I hope that's going to work, because otherwise we have to return, and then with all the extra fuel we will definitely have an exceed of the landing mass, and that is not good at all. So it has to work out, and it will work out hopefully, and the plane doesn't now goes over water, so that should be fine as well. Okay, so we are not on Instagram, not on Facebook, so we don't have too many social media and so on, but we have a nice webpage that you can look at. It's www, and then it's flyrtw.eu, so where you can find more information. There's a tracking about our route. We have a blog there as well for every trip, every leg that we have published. It's in German, but of course Google gives you immediately translation for the web page, so it's no problem to read it also in English or something. And I think it's really nice. It has some nice pictures, and we also post some hints there in case that you ever want to do this kind of trip. There are really some good things that you need to know about it, like a satellite telephone and so on. You need to have a percentage as well for your aircraft, because the rain in Asia and so on, where these intertropical convergence zones are, they are so strong you can't even imagine how much rain is coming down there within seconds. It's just like coming out of buckets. It is unbelievable, and your aircraft will drown if you don't have a proper equipment there. Also for the engine cowlings, we have some protection sheets and so on. And there are some really major things that you really must be aware of, and which you really should have in place. I think it's quite nice. Look at it and follow us if you want to. It will be also longer on the network, so after our travel, and it might give some good tips. And also maybe it's an inspiration to do it one day yourself. If everybody comes ever to northern Germany, the airport is called Wilhelmshaven. It's Echo Delta Whiskey India. Please contact us through our webpage or something, and we will definitely give you a warm invite and show you and give you some tips in this area. So that would be really nice, and we are really looking forward if somebody would come to visit us as well in our hometown. Yeah, so take care, see you next time, and have a wonderful time here with Adelaide Aviation. Good training, good lessons. Really enjoy the time, because it's really awesome to fly, and especially if you do such a longer trip around the world. So take care. Your favorite trip, der beste Platz bisher?